We seek out stories that resonate with us, that show us something new, and I think when you spend 20+ hours with a video game character, you really start seeing the world through their eyes. Here at Volante Design, we aim to translate the best parts of that character into a wearable piece of clothing, so that you can take some of that perspective, maybe some of that strength, maybe some of that speed, into your everyday life. And we hope that when you feel extraordinary, you can become extraordinary.
It started with making stuff for myself that allowed me to feel powerful, whether it was in a live-action role-playing or some other event, or just in my daily life. I had some friends who were also interested in some of the pieces that I had, and they asked how much it would cost to make one. And I threw some numbers out and thought, that seems pretty reasonable. It'll take me a couple hours to make, so I don't know, $100. That slowly evolved into a small custom work business that then became something more when we had some social media attention.
The Volante Design mission is to build a world where ordinary people can feel extraordinary.
And I think that's really what we're aiming for, is
Right.
to give you that moment of really getting excited about yourself, about what you could be.
The idea of wearing a piece of clothing that makes you feel like you're representing your culture. Pop culture, because that's what I'm into, so sci-fi, video games, fantasy. Any one of those things, we want to pull that information out of that and recreate it in something that you can wear. The idea is not to cosplay a character, but to embody the fashion of a particular fantastic or fictional world. So you can step out and feel like your own character within that world.
It's very rare to have to be able to do each part of the process. So we do the design, we build the pattern out, we grade it, which means we make it a variety of sizes. Then we buy the fabric and we send the fabric to get cut. And then the only part that we don't physically do is the sewing of a large scale of pieces. And even that we know exactly who does it. It's done in New York, in Manhattan, on 37th Street. We know the people intimately who sew our pieces, and that's been really important for us, to be building something where we can say, yes, I know the face of the person who sewed this coat, and I know her name.
Being there and watching people sew it and seeing all that done, and understanding the production process was very important to us, because it's a creative endeavor. We started this out of the love of making it, and so we wanted to make sure that every piece reflected that, even if it wasn't made by me personally.
People ask us why our price point is what it is, and the reality is it's because we don't make things cheaply. We buy good fabric and we employ people at a livable wage. And so by buying something like that, you're valuing those ethics. And we really want to make something that works. We want to make something that's going to go to work in your life. So that meant we needed it to be practical, we needed it to function. It had to have pockets, it had to be double stitched, it had to be made out of cotton, real materials.
That's going to last, it's going to take a good beating. That'll look better the more you wear it. I've always felt like that was a good way of buying my clothes in the first place, is, it starts out really nice and then it only looks cooler over time. We also try and create designs that are going to be timeless.
Yeah.
That we're not following the fashion trends as they are. We're following what we think looks good, feels good, and people are going to feel like they can still wear in 10 years and not be out of style.
When you get somebody in the mirror and they go, oh my God, what was that? There's this moment where they get really excited and they say, that's who I want to be. So that's exciting, and it just really keeps it alive. And I mean, when we have that moment when we first put on a sample, we go, that's it, we've done something right. We've made something that's cool.
Right. If we make a sample and we put it on and we don't feel like I'm a badass, then it needs some work.
Yeah.
We've managed to garner a lot of brand loyalty from the people that have purchased our stuff or have seen our stuff before, and those people come back.
We wanted to create something for people who, like us, grew up with a video game aesthetic, who had comic books, who looked at these characters and was like, yes, that's who I want to be. We wanted some stuff that made us feel cool, that made us feel a little bit extraordinary.